Hello. This is AGT 500 slash Challenger Track 98 slash Eloise Wonderwise slash Hilo. And in this video, I kind of want to talk about some of the Viper changes because I know some people have had questions from me about whether or not I like the job now or not. And I'll be completely honest, the job feels almost the exact same, especially when it comes to like a raid environment. But there are some things that I want to talk about. Based on the changes, right? So the biggest change is not what I don't think anybody really saw coming. I think some people were complaining about Noxious Nash, where some people wanted it to like last longer, like 60 seconds instead of 40. But I didn't really see anyone saying outright to remove it. But honestly, I'm kind of okay with it. I think people that are overreacting about its removal kind of like did not play the job enough because there was some skill expression with it, but it was such a minute thing that I don't know if it was really worth it. And I think Noxious Nash and just debuffs like that are kind of inherently clunky nowadays, because having to upkeep those isn't really like you're not really doing anything. Especially even more so with Viper than like Reaper, right? Because as much as people complain about the clunkiness of using Death Design on Reaper, I would say it was 10 times more hard to keep up Death Design on Reaper than it was on Viper, because Viper it's built into your combo anyway. So you're naturally gonna do it even if you just press Dreadwinder. You're gonna have Nash up more often than you would have had Death Design if you just never press that button on Reaper. You see what I'm saying? So like bare minimum, Viper was already way easier to do it. The main skill expression part for not Death Design, for Noxious Nash before was in situations with multiple enemies, whether they be like a mob, like in a dungeon, or in something like Volley Garmanda, where you had to put Nash on multiple ads as you were hitting them to do the most damage. And because Viper can't go backwards in its combo, you kind of had to set up your combo to be able to reapply Noxious Nash when you came out of the ad phase on Volley Garmanda immediately, so you didn't have to go through like half a combo to then come back or force yourself into a Dreadwinder into a Dreadwinder and potentially overcap on Rattling Coils. So stuff like that, which to be fair was fun, finding where you can use Reawakens to stop it so that you don't have to use your actual combo yet, or using like Uncoil Fury to slow down your GCD and just use something else so that you didn't have to use your normal combo, was all pretty interesting. And even swapping between the two different modes of slow GCD and fast GCD and trying to figure out what's the best way to get Nash on the opponent. All that stuff was skill expression, but it's really not that serious, bro. It's really not that serious. And I'm gonna be real, after playing it through the entirety of the Savage tier now, I'm pretty thankful it's not there. I enjoy it a lot more without having to upkeep it. I will say, it's as much Viper as I played before it changed, it was really weird to see it gone. But I definitely think it's a good thing. I also have the patch notes up here. Pretty much all the potencies got cheeky adjusted. A lot of them actually got like extra potencies on top of what they would have had before, because Noxious Nash was only 10%. So a lot of these went up like 10%. Like this would have been like 260 plus 26, right? But that's still more once it goes up to 300. So we got like some potency buffs on some things. The only thing that I saw that kind of went down potency, which is minuscule, was Ouroboros, where before you would have had 1155 with Noxious Nash, but now it's just 1150. Like, it's fine, especially with the other potency buffs that we got. So yeah, that's fine. All the potencies look good. One thing that I really want to bring up, I'm actually going to swap to the game real quick. Let me do this. One thing that I actually want to bring up in the game is your AOE combos, right? I brought this up when I made my original Viper video, that I said that I really wanted the yalms on like this move and this move to be extended, because trying to hit Noxious Nash on multiple enemies in these new dungeons was really cheeky and annoying, because some of them would just be slightly out of its range, miss the Noxious Nash, you start doing all your stuff, and then you either have to go back and do Noxious Nash again, or you just have to ignore that ad, right? In terms of, you know, having Noxious Nash on it. Now, Viper is literally unchained in AoE situations, dude. It is so good in AoE, because you literally get to just use all of this stuff freely. You can go into Reawaken whenever you want, because you don't have to worry about getting Noxious Nash on the opponent first and then going to Reawaken. As long as you have your buffs, you're good. So you can just go into Reawaken whenever you want. It is so much fun in AoE situations now. It makes dungeons literally 10 times better, because you just don't have to worry about that at all. So I am very grateful that it's off of the AoE rotation, because holy moly, it's so much better now. It's so much better. Also, while we're in game, they did not touch, the only thing they touched on my Dreadwinder is they swapped the name to Vicewinder. They did not change these. These still have positionals. I am very happy about that. And after playing the Savage tier, I think it's also very fine. It doesn't really change anything when it comes to the difficulty of the job. It's still very fun, and I think it's still very manageable, like I said before. Okay, lastly on the Dreadwinder Vicewinder change, I just wanted to bring up that they do say in this that how, like, they previously mentioned that they were going to change it, but in light of the above changes and considerable feedback received from players who like this aspect of these actions, we've elected to forego these changes. I'm glad that after they mentioned that, they didn't just blindly go into doing it because they had heard people say they wanted it removed, but they actually listened to people who wanted it as well and decided to keep it, because I honestly thought it was fine before. I still think it's fine, and I'm just glad that they actually listened to both sides and they went with what they decided. So I'm just happy about that. But all that being said, though, let's swap back to the game. All that being said, Viper right now in general, right? How good is it? It feels really good. It feels the exact same, honestly. It's the same job that it was before. It's literally just, instead of having to press this like it all to upkeep your buff, you just swap between them every single time, kind of like Dragoon, which is fine. It's pretty much the exact same thing you did before, only now you don't care about Noxious Nash, right? So it's still pretty much the same. Viper in the raid tier as well, I want to mention a little bit, feels incredibly strong. Not only do we do a lot of damage, in my opinion, we do a lot of damage, but also there is so much like random spots for potential downtime in these, especially in 3 and 4, that Uncoiled Fury is straight up just unmatched. This move is so strong. The thing you have to think about is that, assuming you can get Uncoiled Fury and both of its follow-ups, it is literally the strongest set of moves in your entire kit except for Ouroboros. And it's ranged. Like, you have to think about that for a second. And you can store 3 of them, dude. You can store 3 of them, and they're very easily accessible. You know, that is incredibly strong. That is incredibly strong. Anytime that you have to go away, there's a time in M4S where there is a potential swap that you can do between your groups, at least how we did it. There's a potential spot that you can do between your buddy pairs, should I say, where I'm in the melee buddy pair, obviously, but sometimes I have to swap to the range one. I don't mind swapping to the range one because I have a whole range combo to do that with, right? So I don't really lose anything besides auto attacks from doing that. Not to say you want to play at range constantly, but I'm just saying that you can keep up extremely high damage even from a range because Uncoiled Fury is so strong. This move is killer. It's amazing. It and it helps with managing gauge still as well. It's just good. It's really good, and it's the slower cooldown too, which also helps with, you know, managing different things for your job. So Uncoiled Fury is also this is like my favorite peeking move. It's so good. It's so good. So yeah, Viper in my opinion is in a really good spot right now. It's a lot of fun. It's probably my favorite job in the game right now. It's probably my favorite job in the game. I'm not gonna lie. It feels so well put together. But it's so simple. It's so simple, but it's so well put together. And it just feels really good to play. I'll be real. It feels really good to play. But honestly, this is going to be a really short video, especially for me, but I really just wanted to go over because I like to criticize things in games, but I also like to, you know, say when things are good as well. I want to give good feedback as well, to let them know that, at least in my opinion, the way that they're taking the job right now is very good. It's very good, and it feels enjoyable to play. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I'm gonna end it here. Just a quick video, but yeah, thanks for the support, thanks for watching as always, and bye bye.